And we're live. What's going on, everybody? Thank you all so much for being here. It is trade deadline day, one of the biggest days in the NHL. Obviously, just going to be it's already been an absolutely massive day in the NHL, and hopefully that continues here. We got about an hour left until the 3 p.m. deadline, and then that will be it. Trading will be done for this season, and teams' rosters will be set. So we'll see how it goes here. Hopefully we got some people in the stream here. I did start it a little bit early, but it's 1:55 p.m. Trade deadline is at 3 o'clock, and that will be it. No more trades after that. Obviously we can start. Might as well get right into it here, looking at what's already happened. The latest trade is Andreas Athanasiou and Ryan Kuffner to the Edmonton Oilers in exchange for Sam Gagner, a 2020 second-round pick, and a 2021 second-round pick. Obviously, Oilers looking for a middle-of-the-lineup scorer in Athanasiou to add to that lineup, obviously, Oilers are in a position now where they are contending in the Western Conference. They are contending, for a playoff spot, and not just a playoff spot, but to make a deep run into the playoffs. So that's obviously absolutely massive for them. I got my phone right in front of me. I've got TSN up. I've got Twitter ready as well. If we want to flip over to Twitter, and I still think that there's more to come as far as the rest of this trade deadline is concerned, to say the least. But we are ready to go here. So the latest trade, Andreas Athanasiou to the Edmonton Oilers, along with Ryan Kuffner, who's a prospect, in exchange for Sam Gagner, a second-round pick, and two second-round picks, one in 2020, one in 2021. And obviously that Sam Gagner throw-in was a cap move for the Oilers. They needed to dump salary. We had a small deal here in between the Canadiens and Senators involving prospects. Not much going on there. Boston trading away Danton Heinen for forward Nick Ritchie. Boston and Anaheim obviously were trade partners in the Andre Kasha deal. Now Nick Ritchie to Boston in exchange for Danton Heinen. I love that deal for the Bruins. Absolutely love that deal for the Bruins. Heinen was my least favorite player on the team. Now we get a big power forward who's built for the playoffs in Nick Ritchie in there. I love I love that move for Boston. Buffalo getting Wayne Simmons. Now this one I'm confused. What is the point of this if you're the Buffalo Sabres? Wayne Simmons has no years left on his contract after this year. Buffalo seemingly thinks that they still have a chance at the playoffs this year. Buffalo is not going to the playoffs this year. They're like 10 points back. They're not making the playoffs. If any team that was kind of out of it is making a run into the playoffs, it's the New York Rangers. It's not Buffalo. So I don't understand this deal at all. And then for New Jersey, all you get is a 5th-round pick that could potentially become a 4th if he plays 10 games and the Sabres make the playoffs, which isn't going to happen. How did you only get a 5th-round pick for Wayne Simmons? Wayne Simmons has much more value than that. I mean, the scoring isn't there anymore, but he's still a power forward. He's tough. He's a great leader in the locker room. How did you only get a conditional 5th-round pick for Wayne Simmons? That deal is one of the wildest that baffles me. That's baffled me as far as how today has gone. Derek Grant to Philadelphia in exchange for his prospect Kyle Criscuolo and a 4th-round pick. Again, Philadelphia was a team, if you watch my preview video, I said they probably weren't going to be making big-time moves. Like, they were going to be adding depth, and that's exactly what the Flyers have done here. They've added a depth player in Derek Grant. They also, early in the day, and we'll get to that in a second, added Nate Thompson as well. So the Flyers are adding depth for a playoff run. Great move on their part. That's something that they need. They've got a lot of young players in that lineup. Their bottom 6 this season has been a lot of guys who have kind of been back and forth between the AHL and NHL. This solidifies their bottom six, their fourth line with guys like Grant and Thompson. This is a great those are great depth additions for Philadelphia. I really like I would not want to play the Flyers in the first round. They're a team that's probably going to finish. They're a team that's probably going to finish. Out in third place in that Metro Division behind Washington and Pittsburgh. Maybe they could give one of those teams a run for their money, but I still think Washington and Pittsburgh are the class of the Metro Division. Philly's probably going to finish third, and I would not want to face them in the first round. That is going to be one hell of a first-round matchup, whoever they play. The Leafs bring back Calle Rosen in exchange for Michael Hutchinson to Colorado. Obviously, we expected Colorado to make a goaltender move with the injuries to Philip Grubauer and them relying on Pavel Francouz here. Colorado there was a lot of talk about them possibly making a huge move as far as the goaltending situation is concerned. There was talk about Lundqvist, there was talk about Carey Price. Those moves are usually pretty hard to make during the season. Those are usually more off-season type moves, so I wasn't really expecting that. But Avalanche get at least a goaltender, a body there, someone who can be a third goalie in the organization, and Michael Hutchinson, and give them a little bit of depth there. And Calle Rosen isn't somebody who is playing in the Avalanche's regular lineup or anything, so that's obviously not a loss for them. Patrick Marleau, this was an interesting one. We thought there's been a lot of talk about Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau getting moved by the Sharks. Marleau did get moved to the Pittsburgh Penguins. This is obviously a depth move for the Penguins, but he can come in and become a bottom six scorer for Pittsburgh. Obviously, the Penguins have lost a lot of players to injuries this year. Any help in with their depth situation would really, really be good for Pittsburgh, and that's obviously what we got here. Let's see. So that's a nice move there depth-wise for the Penguins. Sharks get a third-round pick out of it that becomes a second-round pick if Pittsburgh wins the Stanley Cup. So, I mean, that's definitely a possibility. Talk about Nate Thompson going to Philadelphia. Great depth move for the Flyers again. Guy with a lot of experience. This was a huge deal. These two right here, but particularly this one, Vincent Trocheck to the Carolina Hurricanes in exchange for Eric Howla, Lucas Wallmark, Eetu, I'm going to butcher this name, Luo Starinen, I butchered that name, and Chase Prisky. Panthers get a lot back there for Vincent Trocheck, but Trocheck is a guy who is going to have an immediate impact in Carolina as far as coming in and being a top six center there for the Hurricanes. Now, Trocheck's kind of had a down year this year. The points haven't been there at the normal level that they usually are. So this has been a bit of a down year, a little bit for Vincent Trocheck, but fresh start now in Carolina. This is a huge move. J.G. Pageau, another massive move here. The New York Islanders go out and get J.G. Pageau from the Ottawa Senators in exchange for a conditional first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a conditional third-round pick. And now the conditions on that, on the first one, is that if it becomes a top 3 pick, which it's not, the Islanders are not going to get a top 3 pick in this year's draft. It would shift to next season. But the Islanders are a playoff team. They're not going to be picking in the top 3. So that's a first-round pick to Ottawa, a second-round pick to Ottawa, and potentially a third-round pick to Ottawa in 2022. But it only goes if the Islanders win the Cup this year, which, obviously remains to be seen. So, we got Vladislav Nemesnikov also going to the Colorado Avalanche. That is a nice depth pickup there by the Avalanche. Somebody who can come into that third line, fourth line role and give them some secondary scoring. That's a really, really nice pickup there for the Avs for only a fourth-round pick. I mean, those fourth, fifth, sixth round picks are throwaways for the most part to begin with. So for sure. That's a really solid deal. And then obviously earlier we had the Mike Green deal. Let's head back and see if anything else has transpired. Yes, Oilers, Tyler Ennis as well. Okay, so this is new. Athanasiou, when I started, was the newest trade. The Oilers have added Tyler Ennis from Ottawa in exchange for a 5th-round pick. So another depth scorer here for the Edmonton Oilers. Tyler Ennis having a fantastic season this year with the Senators so far. He now heads to Edmonton, and he's going to play there in that bottom 6 and add some serious depth scoring for that team. That is a nice depth pickup for the Oilers as they look to make a deep playoff run. And just coming in, Calgary Flames get Derek Forbort from the LA Kings. Not sure yet. TSN doesn't have, it says to be determined. They don't have the full trade in yet. But Forbort to the Flames. Now, this is expected. I fully expected Calgary to look to add to that defense depth. That's been an issue for them all year. They're not very deep on the back end. Forbort's a nice addition who can play in the middle pair, can play on the bottom pair. Won't have nearly as much pressure on him in Calgary as he did in LA as far as needing to be one of the top guys. I really, that's a solid depth move again for Calgary here. So, all right, guys, I'm going to check the chat now. I haven't checked the chat really since I started. I see Eddie's here. Buffalo's up to 6 points back. Same with the Canadiens. That neither of those teams are making the playoffs. If anyone gets in, it's going to be Florida or the Rangers. Neither of those two are making it. What's going on, Alex? Eddie as well. DMV's here. You want Nick Jensen gone, DMV? I'm not sure if the Capitals are going to trade Nick Jensen or not. Right now he's still a Cap. I know he's not very well liked amongst Capitals fans, to say the least. Trocheck got traded for a haul back to Florida. Howla, Walmart, another prospect, and Chase Prisky as well, a defensive prospect. So that was a huge deal between the Hurricanes and Panthers there. Am I going to celebrate about the Heinen trade? I mean, I don't think I'm going to celebrate about it, DMV, but for sure that's a big deal. I'm very happy to see Danton Heinen gone. He's an invisible player 90% of the time, and I wanted Boston to get rid of him. It was a waste of $3 million, and I think Bjork can play that invisible scorer role fine. You don't need two of the same kind of player in that lineup. And Heinen and Bjork are literally the same player. So they kept Bjork. They got rid of Heinen in that $2.8 million cap hit. They brought in Nick Ritchie. I think that's a great deal for Boston. Ritchie's big, physical, built for the playoffs. Doesn't bring a ton of offense, but can bring some secondary scoring to the lineup, and obviously brings toughness and grit, and that's exactly what you need in the postseason. So I'm big on that deal. Hey, Spencer, what's going on? Thank you for tuning in and watching. Really appreciate it. Glad, looks like we got 14 people watching now, guys. That's fantastic. Remember to please like and subscribe if you are new. Really, really helps out the channel, and we're here on deadline day. Yeah, Heinen is gone. Boston traded him to Anaheim for Nick Ritchie. So Boston now owns both Ritchie brothers, although Nick is far superior to Brett. Nick's a much better player than Brett Ritchie. So Nick will now be coming into Boston and probably playing on the third line, and will bring a nice power forward mentality to that lineup. So Heinen is gone from Boston. Let's see, nothing new in the works here. Let's see, I think I've talked about everything that's official so far. We've gone back. Yeah, early this morning was the Mike Green trade. Edmonton and Detroit, Mike Green for Kyle Brodziak, who that's nothing at this point, and a conditional 4th-round pick. Obviously, I've been saying for a month that I thought Edmonton would probably be the team that goes after Mike Green. They need defense depth. They're relying heavily on rookie, or not just rookie, but just young defensemen in general this year. Clefbaum is out right now. Chris Russell is out right now, so that's two veteran guys that are not in the lineup for the Oilers. The Oilers needed a veteran D-man, and they got their veteran D-man in Mike Green right now. So I think that, and they didn't really give much up at all for him, so I think that's a solid move. Kovalchuk last night got moved. That I have not talked about yet. Kovalchuk to the Washington Capitals for a third-round pick. I think that's a great move for the Cap. For the Caps. That's a great move for the Caps there. Kovalchuk, who's played really well with Montreal, so going to a good team like the Capitals, he still can score. He's got that talent. And that third-round pick is going to be a late third-round pick. Probably not going to amount to much there. So that seems to be all the trades. I've gone through everything, talked a little bit about it. If you guys have anything else that you want to talk about, hey, what's going on, SMM Jack? Welcome, man. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. If you guys have anything else that you want to talk about, feel free to put it in the chat and we can discuss it. If you have any of these deals that you want to talk about in more depth, we can discuss it in the chat. And I'm just going to keep waiting here while more stuff rolls in. I think I'm going to check Twitter now and see if there's anything new here. Ken Holland, World Hockey Report says Ken Holland is making a complete mockery of the NHL. Ennis has 14 goals and he gets him for a fifth. That's an absolute steal for the Edmonton Oilers right there. Absolutely agree with that. That is a steal. Wow, so here from Pierre LeBrun, Flames acquire Forbort from LA, which we know about, and they're trying to get Eric Gustafson from Chicago. So LeBrun says that the Flames are not done as far as adding defense, and they're trying to get Eric Gustafson from Chicago. That is huge. That would be a huge addition to the Flames. That would be a huge addition. So everything right now seems to be about Forbort. All right, here we go. Some analytics here on Gustafson. Pure offensive D-man who was good last year, really good last year. And not having as good of a year this year, but still a very good offensive defenseman that I think can add a lot to that Calgary Flames team. Flames, all right, that sounds like it's getting official here. Flames acquire Gustafson. Okay, so Gustafson to the Flames as well. Gustafson to the Flames as well. That hasn't come in on TSN yet, but we'll see here. I don't know. The Leafs just haven't done really anything yet. Toronto hasn't done anything. I thought they'd be after a defenseman. There's been plenty of defensemen moved. And Toronto just hasn't done anything yet. I'm not sure, Pixel. That's wild to me that Toronto hasn't done any major moves yet, except for getting Callie Rosen, who's a minor leaguer. Penguins are not done either. Okay, James. Thank you for that update. Penguins apparently are not done either. So Pittsburgh has made some moves, but they're still going. Will Edmonton trade Jesse Puljujarvi? I don't think anyone wants him. Holland has said that no one really wants him, and Edmonton's made a number of deals today. They brought in Tyler Ennis, they brought in Andreas Athanasiou, and Athanasiou traded to Edmonton for Sam Gagner, a second-round pick, and another second-round pick. Edmonton's made deals, and I don't think anybody wants Jesse Puljujarvi. He seems to be just completely unwanted around the league. Nobody's gone after him. So the Penguins got Marleau earlier. Apparently they're not done, according to James. So thank you for that update. It was a fourth-round pick. It's officially in. Derek Forbort to the Calgary Flames from LA for a fourth-round pick, and then apparently Eric Gustafson also headed to the Calgary Flames as well. So. With that, we'll see what the return is for Gustafson to Chicago. But Flames loading up on their defensive depth here and trying to be ready to go and be all set for the playoffs with that depth defense. All right, back to the trade tracker here, guys. We'll see when that Gustafson deal gets official and comes in. No, nothing with the Rangers. The only thing, NB, with the Rangers going on right now is apparently there's talks surrounding Brady Shea to Carolina, but there's cap issues with that deal. Carolina is very close to the salary cap, and it's nothing official yet. They're just apparently talking right now. The biggest news of the day, which I haven't even talked about, guys, is the fact that our number one trade target that everyone's been talking about for the past 2 months is not getting traded. Chris Kreider signs a long-term deal, 7 years, $6.5 million per year with the New York Rangers. And Kreider's not going anywhere. So all the months of talking about Kreider and how Kreider was the biggest trade target and the #1 guy on the market are all for nothing. He's not traded. He's staying in New York. So that's kind of the biggest deal of the day, honestly. All right, Alex, no problem, man. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. Simmons got traded to Buffalo from New Jersey for a conditional 5th-round pick. Yeah, the Bruins traded for Nick Ritchie. Hey, Danton Heinen for Nick Ritchie, Jack. That one was right here. Danton Heinen to the Anaheim Ducks for forward Nick Ritchie. And then also, as I was saying, Wayne Simmons to Buffalo for a conditional 5th-round pick. So yeah, Boston, that's been Boston's deal of the day, is getting Nick Ritchie for Danton Heinen. Now, there are potential for another deal from the Bruins here in the last 45 minutes. I'm sure they're still on the phones talking about things, but right now, that's where we're at. So I'm going to switch back to Twitter here, see if anything news come up. Okay. Here we go. Chris Versteeg just said that Leafs should add a 3rd-line center to take a lot of face-offs. And says it's Brandon Sutter time. I don't know. That's not. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. But wow. Whoa. Okay. Pajot has signed a. JG Pajot has signed a long. Yes, Kreider is not getting traded, Spartan. Kreider is staying in New York, not getting traded. Pajot has signed a long-term deal with the New York Islanders, 6 years, $5 million per season. So, long-term deal. So, it's not just a rental for the Islanders. Long-term deal there for New York with JG Pajot. Wow. Okay, so that makes that deal very, very worth it for the New York Islanders. Absolutely worth it. All right, so a lot of the talk right now is still surrounding, on Twitter at least, the Calgary Flames with that Forbert and Gustafson deal. We'll see if when that's made official. TSN does not have the official yet. Hey, Vegas Vix, welcome, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate it. Glad to be here. Remember, guys, to please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Both of those things really help out a lot. We've got live trade deadline coverage for you here for the final, now about 45 minutes left until the trade deadline. And then right after this, I will be doing a trade deadline recap video covering every trade that happened today. And just giving my analysis on each trade, so that should be really fun as well. So definitely going to want to, if you're a hockey fan, you're going to want to stick around and react. We react to things live, and then I'll be doing the trade recap video where you can get my analysis on every single deadline deal that I haven't talked about yet on in any other videos yet. So we're here. It's now a little after 2:15. Trade deadline is at 3 o'clock. So we've got another 43 minutes until the deadline, and we still have plenty of potential for some more trades here. Yeah, honestly, race fan as well. I'm a little surprised. Vegas has been quiet today. I thought Vegas would be in the market for another defenseman to go along with the addition of Alec Martinez, but Vegas has been quiet today. So maybe something changes here in the last 40 minutes or so, but so far Vegas has been pretty quiet. Nothing news coming in yet on TSN. Let's go. Pierre LeBrun has been pretty much on top of things. So if anything new happens, I think he's gonna be on it. So I'm checking his Twitter right now. His last tweet was 12 minutes ago about the Forbert trade. So. Yeah, no, Vegas. The Golden Knights haven't done anything today, so I'm a little bit surprised by that, honestly. I am a little bit surprised by that. I thought they would be a lot more active for sure. But I still, it's not over. We've still got 40 minutes left. They could add a defenseman potentially. Definitely could add a defenseman. All right, guys, we got 22 people watching now. I want to thank you all for that. Thank you all for supporting the channel and watching my live trade deadline coverage today. Just a reminder to please hit that like button. Those thumbs up help a lot in getting more people watching and more people in the chat. And subscribe to the channel if you are new. Got great hockey content coming your way the entire rest of the season and all off season. So, yeah, we got trade deadline today. Then we got playoffs coming up. And then obviously the draft and free agency. If you like hockey, please hit that subscribe button. I've got so much content coming your way. It's going to be a lot of fun. Would love to have you become a part of the off-the-wall hockey community here. And let's see, we're still 40 minutes away, so we've got plenty of chances here for some more trades to happen. I'm pretty sure that some more trades will be happening. Here we go, a tweet about Ennis. Back to Trade Tracker here. Nothing news come up on TSN, so nothing's official yet. Yeah, Matt, the Florida trade with Carolina was absolutely massive. So let me scroll down here quickly. Hey, what's going on, NFL Nation? Let me scroll down here quickly to it so we can talk more in depth about this. Vincent Trocheck to the Carolina Hurricanes in exchange for Eric Howla, Lucas Wallmark, prospect here whose name I cannot say. I absolutely botched it the first time, so I'm not even going to try again. And prospect Chase Prisky. So, obviously, this is a big return for the Florida Panthers. They get Howla, who's a legit NHLer. They get Wallmark, who's a legit NHLer. And then 2 prospects as well. But Vincent Trocheck is somebody who can come in and make a huge, huge deal for the Carolina Hurricanes and play a big role on that team. I think Trocheck is a really nice add for Carolina. I still think Carolina might make a move before the end of the day for a defenseman. But getting Trocheck now into that top 6 is absolutely incredible. I think that then bumps Jordan Staal down to being your third-line center. Obviously, the Hurricanes are now very deep down the middle. Trocheck, not having a great year this year. Certainly not necessarily what we normally see from Vincent Trocheck. But I think a change of scenery for him could really help out. And going to a talented team like Carolina could really help out. So I really, the last half an hour and 15 minutes usually do see a decent amount of action. A lot of teams get those trades in right before the deadline and just make it. Chicago hasn't done anything yet officially scrambled eggs, but there's a lot of talk right now on Twitter especially. I don't know if it comes up. There's a lot of talk right now about Eric Gustafson being traded to the Calgary Flames. Yeah, nothing new on Twitter yet about that. But Eric Gustafson possibly going to the Calgary Flames has been very hot topic over the last 10 minutes. Calgary already added Derek Forbort, which is the last official trade, at least on TSN, for a 4th-round pick from LA. And that's the last one up there. Nothing new yet. Hey, Austin, what's going on? Yeah, Detroit's moving a lot of pieces today. They're obviously sellers at the deadline. They're not a very good team this year. They're the worst team this year. But I trust Steve Yzerman as well. I think they're getting, decent enough returns for these players that they're giving up. Sending Mike Green out, sending Andreas Athanasiou out. They're getting solid returns. So I do trust Steve Yzerman to do a good job, Austin, with the Detroit Red Wings. Boston won the Heinen trade. Absolutely. I mean, Heinen's a young player that Anaheim's probably going to like because of his offensive ability. I just can't stand Danton Heinen. He's invisible most of the time. And I think Nick Ritchie brings in a big power forward body. He's way better than his brother Brett. Nick is the far superior Ritchie brother. He brings in a big body, power forward. He's physical. He can drop the gloves. He's ready. He's the kind of player you need in the playoffs, and he can chip in with some scoring as well. So I really do like that deal for Boston. Yeah, Ottawa has, Brian, you're right. Ottawa's picked up a ton of draft picks. That which is what they need to do. They are a rebuilding team. They need to start with young players and draft talent, and they've got a ton of draft picks now to do that. So as far as selling goes, I think Ottawa and Detroit have both done a very, very good job as far as selling goes and what they've done with at the deadline this year, and just acquiring picks and getting themselves in a position to draft a lot of young talent, and hopefully some of those guys turn out and work out in the future. Oh yeah, spotlight. The Oilers are making the playoffs. The Oilers are absolutely making the playoffs. They're not making these moves to make the playoffs. They've already got a playoff team. They're making these moves to try and go deep into the playoffs. Edmonton, with what they've done today, bringing in Ennis, bringing in Athanasiou, bringing in Mike Green, they are not just trying to make the playoffs. They are trying to make a deep playoff run into possibly the conference final or even the Stanley Cup final. This has been a big deadline for the Edmonton Oilers. Hey Nolan, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Glad you're here. Brandon says Montreal has been good at the deadline. Montreal has gotten rid of Ilya Kovalchuk. They traded Matthew Pekka for another prospect here, Aaron Luchuk, and a 7th round pick. And let's see, what else is Bergevin done today? They got a 5th round pick for Nate Thompson. That's probably, 5th round picks rarely turn into anything, but you never know. And they got the 3rd round pick for Kovalchuk. So Montreal, is acquiring draft picks. They're getting rid of some of their older players. They're not going to make the playoffs this year. So yeah, they're just getting a few draft picks, and they got a prospect out of it as well. But it's been a fairly quiet day for Montreal. No big moves, to say the least. So let me refresh this page here and see if anything new comes up. It has been updating automatically. I just don't think anything else is official yet. Yeah, no. Forbert deal is still the most recent official one. So can go back to Twitter here. Oh, here we go. Bob McKenzie. Breaking news, Evan Rodriguez from Buffalo to Pittsburgh. So that is just breaking now. Pittsburgh, James, you were correct. I just saw your chat. You just had it here. Yep. Evan Rodriguez from Buffalo to Pittsburgh. So you were right. The Penguins were not done. And, another depth move there. Ooh, this is good news for the Coyotes. Kemper in goal for the Coyotes at practice. That is very, very good news for Arizona if they want to make the playoffs. Very, very good news. That seems to be it as far as breaking news goes. Bob McKenzie, Evan Rodriguez from Buffalo to Pittsburgh. That will be coming in as official probably pretty soon. So that's breaking right now. That's another solid depth move for Pittsburgh. Definitely a team that could use it and need some NHL level help in that bottom 6, and now they're getting it. This has been a very, very good trade deadline for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Edmonton's making some big time moves, Nolan. They've had a very good deadline. I think McDavid for sure is going to want to... Oh, he's definitely... Spotlight, he is signed long-term. Connor McDavid is staying in Edmonton. I don't know why there are people who think McDavid's leaving Edmonton. They're a playoff team. He is staying in Edmonton. Honestly, the Edmonton's got some speed for sure now. Absolutely. I absolutely love the Bruins getting rid of Heinen. Heinen was my least favorite player on Boston. Could not stand that guy. Invisible 90% of the time. Nick Ritchie is going to be so much more of a force of a player in the playoffs. With power forward, hits a ton, can fight. Big physical guy. Nick Ritchie is basically a young David Backes. Honestly, that's a pretty close comparison. He's a young David Backes. Not as much offense as Backes had early in his career. Ritchie's a guy who's probably going to score about 15 goals a season. But as far as like a power forward physical player type, Nick Ritchie. It will be what they wanted. Nick Ritchie will be what they wanted David Backes to be for Boston with a little bit less offense. But as far as that power forward type, Ritchie's a third line guy who can score 15 goals, 20, maybe even 20 on a good team, and he's built for the playoffs. He's built for the playoffs. He's a big kid, throws his weight around. I'm all in on Nick Ritchie being in a Bruins uniforms. Yeah, that trade's been talked about all day, Brian, but it's not official yet. And we do have it official now. And this is a bigger trade. This is a bigger trade than I thought between Buffalo and Pittsburgh. Buffalo gets Dominic Cahoon for Connor Sherry and Evan Rodriguez. So it's not just Rodriguez to Pittsburgh. They bring back Connor Sherry as well. Maybe they're going to try and reconnect Connor Sherry and Sidney Crosby. But Rodriguez and Sherry from Buffalo in exchange for Dominic Cahoon. Wow, that is a pretty big deal there for the Pittsburgh Penguins and Buffalo Sabres. That is a bigger deal than I originally thought it was going to be. Hey, thank you, Spotlight. Really appreciate that, man. Thank you for being here. Yeah, Herman, for sure, man. I definitely think that we could see one more move. There's still a half hour left. Final half hour is usually pretty busy as far as the trade deadline goes. As I switch back to Twitter here, let's see. Sherry and that's the deal right now. Pierre LeBrun with it officially. Sherry and Rodriguez to Pitt for Cahoon. That is a pretty big deal there. I like that move for Pittsburgh a lot. 30 minutes left now. Well, 29 now. So we could still see some action here, guys, as this continues to go along. Let's see. What am I? No, Boston, NFL Nation, Boston is not a one-line team anymore. Absolutely not. And welcome, Derek. Thanks for watching, man. Appreciate it. Glad you could be here. Austin says, if the price is right, Detroit could be moving Glendening. Glendening is definitely the kind of player that I think teams that are looking to add a fourth-line guy will definitely want to add into their lineup. Absolutely. So I could certainly see that happening. Yeah, that Islanders Wild deal involving Zach Parise and Andrew Ladd and other pieces as well doesn't seem to be materializing. That's been kind of talked about all day long, and nothing's official yet. It doesn't seem like they're able to get it done. Okay, another trade just popped up here. Emile Juice to the Florida Panthers from Dallas in exchange for a 2026 round pick. He must be a prospect because I've literally never heard of him in my life. So he must be a prospect or something. But that's obviously not a NHL level deal between the Panthers and the Stars right there. Yeah, no, you definitely should be excited for the Oilers spotlight for sure. They've had a great deadline day today so far, without a doubt. Yeah, I don't know, Nolan. Edmonton's added a lot of good pieces. What their lines look like after this is definitely going to be interesting to see how that lineup comes together now that they've added all of these pieces. Hey, welcome, Slapshot Jack. Thanks for being here, man. Really appreciate it. Glad to have you on the stream as always. Yeah, Brian, there usually is some big trade that gets in just before the deadline at the end, so we'll see if that happens again this year. I've got Twitter up here. So I've got Twitter to look through. I've got TSN at Trade Tracker as well, which is updating as the trades become official. So those are the last two trades up right now that we've had so far. A small deal between the Panthers and Stars. involving a prospect that I've never heard of and a 6th-round pick. And then a pretty big deal here between the Penguins and the Sabres. Connor Sherry and Evan Rodriguez back to Pittsburgh. Well, Sherry back to Pittsburgh. Rodriguez to Pittsburgh as well in exchange for Dominic Cahoon. So that was a pretty big deal there. Hey, what's going on, Implicit Steam? Yes, the Islanders have added J.G. Pageau and re-signed him to a long-term contract. So, absolutely huge deal there for the New York Islanders. Yeah, for sure, Nolan. The two of those players, Mike Green and Andreas Athanasiou, were in Detroit when Ken Holland was the GM in Detroit. So there's familiarity there between the organization and the player, for sure, 100%. I agree, James. Pittsburgh's had a great day today. They have made some really, really nice moves. I think if there's anything left for Pittsburgh to do at this point, I think it's going to be maybe a depth defensive move. Bring in like a third pair, number 7 D-man type guy. But even if they don't get that done, Pittsburgh's had a great day today. Yeah, Leafs have done pretty much nothing. All they've done was traded Michael Hutchinson to Colorado for Calle Rosen, who really is an AHL level player. They literally... the Leafs have done nothing substantial today at all, which I think is absolutely insane. They're in severe trouble of potentially missing the playoffs. Leafs have done nothing. You wonder if Jimmy Vesey will get traded from Buffalo. Buffalo, I mean, they added Simmons, they moved Sherry and Rodriguez. They've added Cahoon. I mean, Buffalo's done some moves today. They've definitely made some moves today. And we still have about 25 minutes left. So, for sure, I think, we might see Vesey get moved. We might not. Well, Parise is not official yet. That deal has been talked about all day, but there's absolutely nothing official yet. Robin Leonard with a hilarious tweet here. Nice calm day in St. Louis. Anything special going on today on Twitter? Obviously, he knows it's deadline day. It's a joke, but that's pretty funny there from Robin Leonard. The Parise deal, we if that happens, I think that'd be nice. Anyway, it's been a good day for the Islanders. They didn't give up too much to get J.G. Pageau. Only the first round pick, the second round pick, and the potential third round pick if they win the Cup. But then it's not just for a rental. They get Pageau signed to a long-term deal. So that's really not that much to give up for Pageau if you're the Islanders. And I think that's a really, really nice addition to that team. NFL Nation thinks that the Bruins should bring in a third-pair defenseman for a third-round pick or a fourth-round pick. I mean, I think the Bruins are probably pretty good at defense as far as, when everyone's healthy, they're all set on D. Maybe a depth move if it's cheap, could be fine. But I don't think that's necessarily a desperate need or anything of Boston's. Yeah, James, Pittsburgh is looking really, really good. Pittsburgh's got a sick lineup for the rest of the season, absolutely. Adding Zucker a couple weeks ago, now adding Sherry back, Rodriguez and Marleau into that bottom 6. I mean, that Pittsburgh is set up for a playoff run here. Yes, they did, Alex. I don't really know anything about him. I assume he's a prospect. I've never heard of him, but he got traded from Dallas for a 6th-round pick. No, the Leafs don't want CeCe back. He's absolutely horrendous. They do need Morgan Riley back, absolutely. The Leafs need Morgan Riley back. I cannot believe they have not traded for a defenseman today. I cannot believe that the Maple Leafs have not traded for... Well, they've traded for Calle Rosen, a real legitimate top 4 defenseman today. The Leafs needed to make some sort of big move on defense, and they haven't done it. That is shocking to me. Hoffman's not been traded yet, Spotlight. I have no idea if he's going to. I mean, we don't know that until it happens. But Hoffman has not been traded yet, no. Yeah, I mean, obviously, adding Josh Manson would be a massive, massive move for Toronto, and really good move for them. All right, NFL Nation, stop trolling, dude. Stop trolling. Cody Ceci doesn't belong anywhere near the Bruins. Come on, that's not even funny. He might be the worst player in the league. I mean, I wouldn't say that the Panthers have sold. I would not say that the Panthers have sold. They made the big Trocheck deal, but they got a lot back in return for that. And then they added this young defenseman from Dallas. So, NFL Nation, you're an absolute joke if you think that Cody Ceci should be anywhere near the Bruins. He literally might be the worst player in the league. He's horrible. The Leafs don't even want him to come back into the lineup. He's so bad. Why would we want anything to do with him? Islanders need a third line right wing. Well, they've still got 20 minutes to make another depth move here. Let's see. NHL News just picking up the Cahoon of Pittsburgh Buffalo trade. Yeah, thank God Heinen's gone. And Donato gone last year. Heinen gone this year. All the guys I hate on the Bruins are getting shipped out, which is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, CC can go play for Detroit Spotlight. That would actually kind of make sense. Yeah, I'm pumped, THG. Donato gone last year. Heinen gone this year. So happy. So happy about that. Yeah, Matt, agree. Panthers have got to be looking for some NHL level defense help here. I don't know what they're doing. Why they haven't added a defenseman here. But maybe the deal's not out there. And yeah, I agree, James. I think Toronto is saying today, by not doing really anything, that we don't have a team that can compete at this point. We do not have a team that is ready to go deep into the playoffs. And they're right, they don't. But I thought they would at least try and fix that and add a top four defenseman and make a serious move to try and improve that defense. And Toronto sat back and done basically nothing. Calle Rosen is not going to fix your defense. He's an AHL, borderline NHL level player. Anything new up here? That's from 6 hours ago. Oh, he just retweeted it. Why am I getting I want most recent stuff in the feed, guys, not stuff from 6 hours ago. But yes, Dustin Byfuglien not playing hockey this year. That's old news now. Came out this morning. Yeah, I agree. I think the Panthers have got to look to add defense here. We'll see what happens the rest of the way. Let's go. Bob McKenzie, let's check in on his Twitter. He is my favorite of the big-time insiders. Absolute favorite. So let's see what we got here. He's got that deal. Toronto is not close to trading Tyson Barrie. 11 minutes ago from Bob McKenzie. Very, very good source. Toronto is not close to trading Tyson Barrie. Wow. So they're just going to sit back and do nothing today. That is absolutely unbelievable if you ask me. Absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, Glenn, you're 100% right, man. McDavid is not going anywhere. He is staying in Edmonton for the long term, 100%. He's literally like Edmonton with Draisaitl and McDavid locked up long term should be a competitive team year in and year out for the foreseeable future. James, that is very good news for the Penguins' defense. Dumoulin and Marino traveling with the team. Hopefully be back soon. That is great news for the Pittsburgh Penguins defense. Absolutely. Nothing new from McKenzie in the last 13 minutes, though. So we'll see if anything new materializes, but apparently nothing's official yet. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that, man. Thank you guys for watching. Love having you all here. Really, really appreciate it. Remember, guys, to please hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. I love seeing the channel grow. Love seeing more people become a part of the off-the-wall hockey family here. We got a great hockey community. I've got a ton of awesome content coming your guys' way in the future as we head into the playoffs and obviously through the playoffs and into this off season. So please hit that subscribe button if you're new. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and thank you all for supporting the channel. And I'm trying to stay on top of everything the best I can here, guys. What's going on, Colbster? Welcome. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. They're not going to trade Tavares, NFL Nation. They just signed him to that massive deal a couple years ago. They're not going to trade Tavares. The Oilers had a really tough year last year. It was mostly because of their defense and goaltending. But they've been much, much better this year. They're a competitive team this year, which is obviously what they want to be. And they're an all-around better team this year. A lot of their young defensemen have stepped up and shown that they're ready to play at the NHL level. And that's been a huge add for Edmonton, and has made them a huge significantly better, a huge improvement over last season for the Oilers. All right, so Mackenzie's not tweeting right now. Back to the homepage, ladies and gentlemen. Oilers update. Athanasiou will wear number 28 with them. Possibility Thornton returns to Boston has cooled down. Okay, so that's probably not going to happen. I didn't want that to happen anyway. James just retracted it. All right. I have not heard that, James, about Barry going to Calgary. And it's not coming up here on Twitter, but we'll see. Back to the trade deadline, the TSN trade tracker here. Last official trade was still the Panthers-Stars trade, so nothing new, at least officially yet, guys. Nothing new officially yet. I'm keeping tabs on the trade tracker as well as Twitter. Welcome to the stream, guys. Thank you all for watching. I'm keeping you guys updated live with everything. And then after this stream, as soon as this stream ends, I'm going to be recording a full recap of the 2020 trade deadline. Every trade from the Andre Kasha trade, which got its own video, until now will be a part of that trade deadline recap. Everything before that got its own individual video, but the trade deadline recap will be coming up right after this. I'll be recording that and posting it as soon as I can. So, yeah, a lot of great content coming your way, guys, as today is one of the biggest days in the NHL with the trade deadline. And then with the push for the playoffs coming up. So please hit that subscribe button if you are new. Would really love to have you become a part of our hockey community here at Off the Wall Hockey. And hit that like button if you haven't already. Those thumbs up really help out a lot with the channel and are much, much appreciated. So let's see what happens. Nolan thinks that Ennis better wear number 69. That'd be really funny. Not sure if he will or not, but that would be really funny. Hey, Sutton, what's going on, man? Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Yeah, no, I probably will, THG. I will stay on a little bit after the 3 p.m. deadline, maybe like 10-15 minutes, just in case anything comes through late. And then I will go and record the full deadline, because I want the recap video up as soon as possible. But, I will definitely stay a little bit. I will definitely stay a little bit after the deadline. Hey, Rob, what's going on? Welcome. Thank you. What's going on, Vaughn, as well? Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it. Glad you guys could stop in. Remember to hit that like button, guys. That's really important. And subscribe to the channel if you're new. Love growing the hockey community here. Would really, really appreciate it if you all could hit that like button. It would be fantastic. Yeah, Dominic Cahoon's a pretty decent player, Rob, for sure. Now they gave up Sherry and Rodriguez, but Cahoon's a pretty solid player. He's a winger. He'll probably play a pretty high level role with the Buffalo Sabres. Probably second line with them. And yeah, that's a decent pickup there for Buffalo. Flames may not be done. Here we go. Flames may not be done. Still working the phones. Okay. So a little bit of an update there. So hey, sounds good. Sounds good, THG. Really do appreciate that. Glad you're watching, man, as always. Did the Oilers win the Athanasiou trade? Well, let's go look at that one a little closer. Andreas Athanasiou and Ryan Kuffner to Edmonton. Now, Kuffner's a prospect. Athanasiou, we obviously know what he is, a middle of the lineup. A middle of the lineup center, forward, can play wing or center for Edmonton. For Sam Gagner and 2 second-round picks. Now, for the Oilers, they're obviously trying to add to this lineup and make a deep playoff run. This is a good deal for the Oilers. For the Red Wings, they're just trying to, rebuild for the future, so they get 2 second-round picks out of it. This trade's honestly a win-win in my opinion. This is a win-win in my opinion for the Oilers and the Red Wings. I mean, the Red Wings get the 2 picks that they needed. A veteran player in Sam Gagner who can help out with the younger players there and be a mentor to them. And then the Oilers get a prospect and a solid third liner in Andreas Athanasiou who can really help them out offensively. So I think both teams got what they really needed there with this trade. So I'd call that one a win-win. No, they're not prank calling the cops, NFL Nation. Yeah, I absolutely loved it, Sutton. Love seeing Danton Heinen not in a Bruins uniform anymore. My least favorite player on the team is now gone. Oh, here we go. Pierre LeBrun. This is big, guys. Sammy Vatanen headed to the Carolina Hurricanes. This will be a huge deal. Sammy Vatanen headed to the Carolina Hurricanes. No, he's from the Devils. Headed to Carolina. You want to see the Habs and Sens deal? That was literally an AHL deal. It didn't mean anything. Montreal Canadiens get a prospect and a 7th-round pick in exchange for Matthew Pekka, who goes to Ottawa. That's a minor league deal there for the Canadiens and Senators. But this Sammy Vatanen deal is not going to be a minor league deal. This is going to be absolutely huge. Vatanen to Carolina. The Hurricanes needed to add a defenseman. They already added Trocheck to their top 6. And now they're adding a legit top 4 defenseman. Other way here. Yeah, no, for sure. McCann will probably stay with Pittsburgh, James, and they weren't going to be able to re-sign Cahoon, so they sent him to Buffalo. Yeah, no, it's all good, THG. Not a problem, man. So, wow, we got 50 in the chat, guys. That is awesome. Thank you all for being here. Please stick around. We still got about 10 minutes left until the end of the trade deadline, and then I'm going to stay on for about 10 to 15 minutes after in case anything new breaks. And then I will be recording my full trade deadline recap, right after that. So please make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new. And hit that like button if you haven't already. But I've got a lot of great hockey content coming your way, guys. So please hit that subscribe button. Let's see. NFL Nation says that he loves veterans going from rebuilders to contenders. Yeah, that's obviously a thing that happens a lot at the deadline and is very, very important. So Sammy Vatanen to the Carolina Hurricanes here, still to be determined on the return. We'll wait until something breaks on that as far as what the return is. Yeah, Nick Ritchie's a power forward, son. Hey, Nick, welcome, man. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Nick Ritchie's a power forward, 15-goal guy about, probably 20 on a good team. But built for the playoffs, physical player. I like Nick Ritchie a lot, guys, to be a third liner on the Boston Bruins. I really like that move for Boston. Nick, welcome, man. Thank you. And we'll wait and see here. This is going to be a pretty big trade, I think. We'll see what the return is for Sami Vatanen, headed to Carolina in exchange for, we don't know yet. I don't know. It's tough to say who the. I honestly, Edmonton has had a fantastic trade deadline. Prospect and a pick for Vatanen, but we don't know. We don't know who. We don't know who yet, but New Jersey will be getting a prospect and a pick for Vatanen. So we're still waiting on what the final trade pieces are going to be both ways. But New Jersey getting a prospect and a pick for Sami Vatanen, according to Bob McKenzie. So we'll wait and see who it is. But there is a lot going on right now, guys. This is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, 5 minutes left till the 3 p.m. deadline, guys. So anything that happens now is going to be a last-minute deal. They have to have the paperwork filed with the league before 3 p.m. So if anything's going to happen, it's got to happen quick here. Only 5 minutes left until the deadline. Hey, it's all good, THG. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Hey, Nathan, welcome to the stream, man. Thank you for stopping in. Love having you here, as always. Vaughn, nobody's going to do that, Vaughn. We're not calling your school. Vegas tweeting, but they haven't done anything today. Vegas very surprisingly quiet today. There's nothing new yet on Twitter so far, guys. I've been surprised by that. I thought Vegas might try to add another defenseman, but I guess the deal wasn't out there because Vegas has done nothing today. Obviously, the Alec Martinez deal was a couple days ago, and that apparently is enough. And I do like Vegas heading into the playoffs, but I'm a little surprised that they haven't made a single move today. I thought they'd be a little more active than that. Wayne Simmons is going to the Buffalo Sabres in exchange for a 5th-round pick. Hey, thanks, Sega Boy. I appreciate that, man. Joe Thornton staying in San Jose. Confirmed. Thank you, James. So, no deal out there for Thornton. Obviously, we saw Patrick Marleau get traded earlier. We saw Marleau get traded earlier to the Pittsburgh Penguins, but Joe Thornton apparently staying in San Jose. So that's there's not going to be a deal there. We're down now. Only 3 minutes left till the deadline. I am going to stay live after the deadline, guys, because there are always some late breaking. The media know about it yet. But as long as the paperwork is filed with the league by 3 o'clock, the trade is valid. So there will probably be some that come out after the deadline actually passes here. So I'm going to stay live for like an extra 10 to 15 minutes with you guys, just to see if that happens, if anything comes out late. And then I will be going right to recording my full trade deadline recap with all the trades that I haven't talked about yet in a video. So please check that out when you get the chance. I'll be recapping everything. And I really, really appreciate you guys all being here and watching. Remember to please hit that subscribe button if you're new. And like this video if you haven't already. Those thumbs up help out so much in getting more people in here watching. It's been a fantastic trade deadline so far, and I really want to thank you guys for supporting the stream. Hey, what's going on, Kevin? What's going on, man? Really glad to have you here as always. Yeah, apparently the Gustafson trade has not come through on TSN, so apparently it's not official yet. It has not come through. There are a number of trades that were talked about earlier today. Oh, wow, I was just talking about Vegas not making a deal, and Vegas has made a deal. Robin Leonard to Vegas. Backup goaltending help behind Marc-Andre Fleury there. Huge deal there for the Vegas Golden Knights getting Robin Leonard. Wow, and from Pierre LeBrun here, San Jose and Tampa Bay talking about Barclay Goodrow trade. So another depth move there for for San Jose, or for Tampa Bay, excuse me, bringing in a depth player in Barclay Goodrow. We'll see if it gets official before the deadline here. We are right at the deadline time here, guys. But obviously some trades will not be broken until after. Only the paperwork has to be put in with the league before 3 o'clock. After that, that doesn't mean the media knows about it yet. So there could definitely still be some new trades happening here, guys. This is huge. Leonard to Vegas, San Jose and Tampa Bay, possibly a Barclay Goodrow deal. The Bruins traded Dan Heinen to Anaheim for Nick Ritchie, Kevin. That was the one Bruins deal today. So let's see. We still have to await word on the Vatanen deal, what the return is to New Jersey. Yeah, Marleau, I would assume Marleau probably wanted to be traded to a contending team and have one last shot at a Stanley Cup there, NFL Nation. I would think he would want one last shot at a cup. Robin Lehner from Chicago to Vegas. That's the latest breaking trade right now, guys. Yeah, Tampa adding another depth piece potentially here. That could be big. That could be big. So it is now officially 3 p.m. It is 3 p.m., guys, which means no more trades can be filed with the NHL. So everything that's going to happen has to have been filed with the NHL by now. Toronto apparently did nothing. Yes. Dan Heinen was my least favorite player on the Bruins. I'm so glad he's gone. Nick Ritchie does so much more with his big power forward frame, physicality, built for the playoffs. I'm so glad Dan Heinen's gone. Yeah, deadline officially over, guys. No Tyson Barrie deal for Toronto. Toronto is officially, I think, done. Toronto, I think, is done here. They did not really do anything of significance today. Did not help that defense at all. Yeah, apparently this deal with Minnesota, Islanders and Minnesota might not happen. Might not happen. It was supposed to be Parisi and Ladd involved as well as other pieces. It was literally talked about all afternoon, but nothing official here, and now the deadline is passed, so might not happen. We may still get some trades that get announced, guys. I will be staying live for another 15 minutes or so to see if there are any late-breaking trades where the paperwork was filed, but the media just didn't find out about it yet. Yeah, we're past 3 o'clock, guys, so nothing new can happen. Only stuff that was already filed with the league we can find out about now. First round exit for Toronto if they even make the playoffs, Vaughn. They did basically nothing today. Yeah, Vegas is going to be really, really good. Yeah, I thought Carolina would be in on Robin Lehner, but they did get Sami Vatanen from the New Jersey Devils. We don't know the official return on that yet. Sami Vatanen is going to Carolina to boost that decor. From Pierre LeBrun right here, Joe Thornton officially staying put in San Jose. So no move there with Joe Thornton. So Leonard to Vegas, now forming a dynamic goaltending duo with Marc-Andre Fleury and Robin Lehner. Don't know what that means for Malcolm Subban. Maybe Malcolm Subban was in the trade package going back to Chicago, because as you can see, it still says to be determined here. So TSN does not have that information yet. Yeah, Thornton, no Thornton returned to Boston. He's staying put in San Jose. Can I do a Leafs rant video? I'm not a Leafs fan, so it really wouldn't make much sense for me to do it, Brandon. I think John from Hot Take Hockey is going to be the one ranting about the Leafs not doing anything. The deadline is passed, guys. I'm going to stay live for another 10 to 15 minutes just to see if there are any late breaking news here. But the deadline has passed, so nothing new can be filed with the league at this point. Oh, yeah, the playoffs are going to be absolutely incredible, Brian. 100% agree with that. So, The TSN just updated here. Devils get a draft pick and a prospect for Sami Vatanen, but it still does not say who. Okay, more information here from Bob McKenzie as I switch over to Twitter, guys. The draft pick in the Vatanen trade is conditional on his health, depending on how many games he plays. So it's completely dependent on how many games he plays. Vatanen has been out the last 3 or 4 weeks with a leg injury. So what the pick is in return for New Jersey depends on how many games Sami Vatanen plays. We still don't know if it's a second rounder or a first rounder or what it is. But that's it. So we'll see if there's any more late breaking stuff here, as I'm going to stay live for another 10 minutes or so, guys. And then I'm going to do my full recap video. I really can't do the recap video until these last trades are officially in and we know what the return is. So, yeah, this has been a big day today. What do you mean, who replaces Halak? Halak is in Boston still. Yeah, I agree, Herman. Toronto needed to do something, and they really didn't do anything today. All they got was a depth, borderline AHL, NHL defenseman in Calle Rosen. Oh, you mean, I have no idea, NFL Nation. After this season, when he's a free agent, I have no idea. That's something that the Bruins aren't going to worry about until we get to the summer. Right now, they're just worried about on this season and winning the Stanley Cup. Yeah, NFL Nation, HGH had a huge day on his channel. I'm really, really happy for him for that. Absolutely incredible. No, Halak is not going to the Canucks. That'd be a terrible move for the Canucks. There we go, Eddie. Because they didn't do anything substantial. The Leafs made absolutely no improvement to their team today. They made absolutely no improvement to their team today. All they did was trade Hutchinson for an AHL defenseman. That's literally nothing. The Toronto Maple Leafs needed to get a top 4 defenseman today. If they have any hope of getting out of the first round of the playoffs, or even making the playoffs, they needed to get a top 4 defenseman today. They did not do that. They did basically nothing except trade a third-string goaltender. The Leafs might not even make the playoffs now. It's hilarious. It's way too hard to say what the best trade was. There were a lot of great moves today. I think I'm with Glenn on this. I think the Oilers are probably the most improved team. And they really didn't give up a whole lot to get those players either. So I would say Oilers had a very good day. The New York Islanders had a very good day getting J.G. Pageau, as well as signing Pageau to a long-term deal. Carolina getting Trocheck and Vatanen, I think, is a nice move for them, but they did not get any goaltending help, which I think is an issue. Pittsburgh had an extremely good trade deadline as well. I think a lot of teams did really, really well today. Nothing new coming in here on TSN. I don't know if there's anything late breaking or not. Yeah, we have seen details of multiple trades announced in the hours afterwards, so we don't know the full details on all of them yet. Blackhawks, okay, here we go. Robin Leonard to Vegas for a second-round draft pick. So Vegas to Robin Leonard to Vegas for a second-round pick. There we go. So that one we look like we know the return on. Oh, now Chris Johnston says second and a prospect. Okay, we're adding more to this now. So Chicago might have gotten a decent haul in return for Robin Leonard here, who's a free agent at the end of this season. Sonny Milano to Anaheim. Okay. Lamoriello on conference call in 15 minutes for the Islanders. That means no Parise deal. So that Andrew Ladd, Zach Parise deal between the Islanders and Wild, no deal. Did not happen. And Lamoriello's on conference call in 15 minutes. All right, Sonny Milano to Anaheim 2 seconds ago. That interesting deal there for Columbus. We'll see what Columbus got in return for that. Devin Shore. Okay, so Devin Shore to Columbus. Sonny Milano, I think, is this TBD is going to turn into Sonny Milano for the Anaheim Ducks. Okay. Yeah, Tampa signed Zach Bogosian, Sega boy. Yeah, Pittsburgh had a great deadline as well. No, the Canucks are not going to trade Pettersson. Absolutely not. Tampa acquired Barclay Goodrow. Is that official now? I know they were talking about that on Twitter right at the end of the deadline, but it's not. It wasn't anything official yet. Nothing new on my Twitter coming in. Tampa, Barclay Goodrow to Tampa was talked about, but was not anything official that I've seen yet as far as a return or anything like that. We'll see if anything new comes in here, guys. I might actually wait until later tonight to do the deadline. To do the deadline recap, because I really want all of these trades to be, like, everything be official and know which pieces are going both ways before I do that video on it. So that might have to wait until an hour or so after the deadline to see what happened here. Nothing new coming in as of right now on TSN, guys. NHL Network is reporting it. Okay. So it looks like that deal with the Lightning and... Whoa, this is huge! Carolina gets Brady Shea from the Rangers as well. This is huge. Brady Shea to Carolina for a first-round pick. Carolina adding Sammy Vatanen and Brady Shea to that defense. That is absolutely massive. Absolutely massive. Wow. Carolina now, huge moves, getting Vincent Trocheck, Brady Shea, and Sammy Vatanen at the deadline. Huge for Carolina. Yeah, Martin, it's tough to say at this point it's hard to rank these trades from best to worst. There were a lot of really good deals today. A lot of these teams are getting really good returns, and a lot of these teams are getting players added to their lineups that they desperately need for a playoff run. So I really think there's been a lot of great moves today overall. Yeah, Pens are never going to trade Crosby. Yeah, this is huge, guys. We still got stuff coming in here post deadline, so I'm gonna try and stay live until we get a full scale, knowing which pieces went both ways for all of these deals, and then I'll be doing the recap video tonight as well. But yeah, guys, please, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button to follow along for all of my hockey content. I'm going to be doing a trade deadline full recap right after this stream is done. And once we know the full details of all of these trades. And I obviously going to have a ton of content coming your way as we head towards the playoffs and through the playoffs this season. So please hit that subscribe button if you're new, guys. And if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button and give this video a like. That really, really helps out a lot in getting more people watching and helping the channel to grow. So thank you all for your support. Thank you all for watching, guys. And I'm going to stay live until we get some more details on these last-minute trades. There's a lot coming in here last minute. So the Canes get Shea from the Rangers and Vatanen from New Jersey to shore up their injured blue line. They get around the salary cap issues by using LTIR. And they get Vincent Trocheck. That is absolutely massive. Absolutely massive for the Carolina Hurricanes. This team is going all in on making another deep run this year. Yeah, the Flyers, they made some depth moves today, getting Derek Grant and Nate Thompson into the lineup. These are huge moves for Carolina here. Yeah, Penguins got Sherry back, Kolbster, along with Evan Rodriguez in exchange for Dominic Cahoon from the Buffalo Sabres. So obviously that's a big deal for them, certainly. Pens had a really nice day today. I like a lot of what Pittsburgh's done today. They've had a solid deadline. I think Carolina obviously had a huge deadline. Vegas getting Leonard and then getting Martinez a few days ago. Huge for Vegas. The Oilers have done fantastic at the deadline as well, adding some depth pieces to that group, some offense to that group, as well as a veteran defenseman in Mike Green. I love the Boston deal there. Nick Ritchie coming in for Danton Heinen. I could not stand Heinen. I think Ritchie's going to be a much more impactful player with his physicality. The Leafs do nothing except get Calle Rosen, a borderline defenseman, AHL. So the Leafs make no major moves. That I don't know what to think. I mean, that's the Leafs, I think, just throwing in the towel on this season. J.G. Pageau to the Islanders is huge for New York. That's the only big move New York made, but it was a good one. And they get Pageau signed to a long-term deal today as well. So that's massive for the Islanders to have this not just be a rental, but be a long-term, add to that team. Pageau is going to fit in New York very, very nicely. Simmons to Buffalo. Simmons got traded to Buffalo for a conditional 5th-round pick. I thought Colorado might go after him, but after getting Nemesnikov from Ottawa, I think Colorado was pretty much done after that. And they got Hutchinson as well to be a third goalie. But Nemesnikov was the big ad for Colorado, and they didn't go after Simmons, so they stuck with that, and Simmons ended up in Buffalo. So we'll see if anything new comes in here, guys. Jake Muzzin hasn't been extended by the Leafs. Okay, $5.625 million per season, 4-year extension with Jake Muzzin in Toronto. So Muzzin is Toronto's best defensive defenseman. So it's good for the Leafs to keep him around. I just cannot believe that Toronto didn't add to their defense at this deadline, at least in a significant way. I thought for sure they were going to try and bring in a top 4 defenseman. They get Jake Muzzin re-signed, which is good for the future, but doesn't help the team right now. I mean, it doesn't make them any better right now. He's already on the team. Yeah, Meadow Clan, Leafs did pretty much nothing today. One minor trade, and they just signed Jake Muzzin, which is good, but that's not that's not adding to the team. He's already there. So, yes, this is the second year in a row that Wayne Simmons has been traded at the deadline. Yes. All right, guys. So we're about 20 minutes past. We're about 20 minutes past the end of the deadline here. I am going to be signing off here pretty soon and go work on. I got to do a Leafs video for that Muzzin signing. And we'll see if anything else breaks here. Huge day for Carolina. Getting Sammy Vatanen and Brady Shea and Vincent Trocheck into that lineup. Just massive for them. So apparently Gustafson did get added to the Flames. Forbert and Gustafson. That Gustafson deal has not come through, though, as official yet on TSN. So we'll see what the details are on that later today. All right, guys. Wow. So what a day. I am going to be signing off here quickly. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. Remember, guys, to please hit that subscribe button. Follow along for all of my content. Got so much great hockey content coming your way. So if you're new, please subscribe. And hit that like button as well. Those thumbs up really help the channel a lot and go a long way in helping this community grow. Would love to have all of you become a part has really become a part of the off-the-wall hockey community and family here. Thank you, James. I really appreciate that. Herman as well. Thank you for being here, man. Much appreciated. I'm going to be doing a full recap video as soon as tonight, as soon as all the details are in on these trades. So that will be coming up. Make sure to check that out, guys. And I'm going to go work on the Maple Leafs video re-signing Jake Muzzin right now. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this channel. And I'm going to sign off here, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. So with that, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and talk to you guys very, very soon.